shattered society and doubt that it can ever be fixed? Sure, just as it can be tempting to think there are simple, obvious solutions to our problems that the people in charge are too incompetent or craven to fight for. Sometimes true. But you picked up this book because you still believe that our politics can change, and that all of us, not just politicians, can play a role in changing it, even if our political system was built to make that process hard and slow. So you need to know how the system works, how it doesn't, and what it'll take to improve it. And that requires just a touch of civics. Oh no, history. The United States is often called the world's oldest democracy. Just don't tell the Greeks, or women, or black people, or Native Americans, or those Palm Beach Jews who accidentally voted for Pat Buchanan in 2000. We've been around for 248 years and made a ton of memories. But our longevity also makes America a little bit like the first iPod. Change the game, now just a brick with sticky buttons. We ushered in the era of government by the people as opposed to government by inbred Habsburg. But when it comes to liberty, age doesn't come before beauty. According to the latest Democracy Index, out of the 167 countries and territories analyzed, the United States ranked 30th, which is honestly higher than we expected. The index evaluates countries in 5 key categories: functioning of government, political participation, political culture, civil liberties, and the likelihood a loser president will try to overturn an election, then grab all the secret war plans he can stuff in his pockets. The U.S. is what the index has deemed to be a flawed democracy, which is just one category above government the CIA would have tried to overthrow in the 1980s. We know what you're thinking. Flawed? Hey, Democracy Index, why don't you fuck off to Denmark? But once you calm down, you'll realize it's true. The Supreme Court has overturned decades of progress thanks to some of the most extreme justices to ever get a lifetime appointment. An insurrectionist took a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk, which is not allowed on the tour. One of America's 2 major political parties has radicalized in pretty dangerous and stupid ways. And these doofs have succeeded in part by preying on cynicism and on frustration with the way our system works, even when it's working as designed. More than anything, America's founders wanted to kill witches, and by that I mean prevent this new country from backsliding into monarchy, which is why they created a structure that would make it very difficult for a game show host with tyrannical tendencies to roast joke his way into a quasi-dictatorship. The founders understood that power corrupts, so in America, power is divided between our 3 equal branches of government, between the federal government and the states and blah, blah, blah. But these safeguards weren't just about limiting the power of leaders at the top. The founders were afraid of the people at the bottom, too. It's why, when the Constitution was ratified, only white men with property were allowed to vote. It's also why senators weren't elected directly by voters until the passage of the 17th Amendment, or why we don't get to vote for president, but for an electoral college instead. Were the founders right to worry that voters might be too easily swayed by a demagogue? Yeah, turn on the news. But the founders were also toothless slave owners and lead-poisoned shopkeepers. They railed against the dangers of political parties, but they didn't put enough or anything in the Constitution to protect against the danger those parties might pose. Dividing power between different branches and levels of government doesn't do much good if a major party is unified and radicalized against government itself. Our challenge is to save a democracy that's hard to change by design, even when it's under threat. After all, the struggle to fulfill the promise of equal rights and dignity to every American has always been more difficult than the struggle to deny that promise. It took almost 100 years to abolish slavery, 144 years for women to get the right to vote, and 239 years to legalize marriage equality, and we still don't have an Equal Rights Amendment. But there's always a way forward. There's always a chance to wring more democracy and more progress out of a system that feels broken, even rigged. The key is to figure out what can actually be changed and how. Fortunately, we've developed a highly scientific rating scale to help you determine just how difficult it will be to fix various parts of our political system. The Senate. Difficulty rating on a scale of 1 to 5. 5. Why do 40 million people in California get the same number of senators as 580,000 people in Wyoming? To enrage liberals forever. And because ratifying the Constitution takes compromise with smaller states. The founders did not envision 2 political parties in which one party's voters would mostly live in the densely populated areas of bigger states and the other party's voters